Two-part question. How do you, A, learn lines? Do you have tips and tricks? And once you've done them, how do you then transfer just words that you've just learned off a page and turn that into
something natural? Like something, it's difficult. Sometimes when you read a script, you'll naturally be able to read it in a flow that you're like, oh yeah, this is so easy. Some scripts are very difficult. They just don't flow. And it just depends. You know, I'll read something that maybe a British writer has written, and the word order is very different than how we would normally talk here in America, and also where I was raised in Texas. So I have to try a little bit harder to make it sound organic and natural as I say it. But I would say for memorization, I am incredibly blessed to have a very photographic memory. On my show, Blindspot, most of the time I would go to work in the mornings and just look at the lines for the day and be able to memorize it right there in the makeup chair.
No way.
Whereas a couple of my co-stars would have to learn it 2 weeks before. So everybody's a little different.
Again, know yourself.
Know yourself. And if you have trouble memorizing and you let that, I guess, stop you up a little bit, call a friend, see if somebody will come and read it with you, and you just go back and forth with the lines until they become second nature. And you have to also know what it is you're saying. A lot of actors I've worked with in the past, and this is just an observation, we've talked about it, it's not at all a judgment, but a lot of actors will say the lines and have no idea what exactly they're saying. And therefore there's unnatural pauses in sentences where there shouldn't be, because they're just trying to find a rhythm so that they have it memorized. So not only do you need to memorize it, you need to know what you're saying. And if you know what you're saying, say you're doing a monologue where you're telling a story. If you really know what's going to happen next in that story, you don't have to work so hard to memorize it. You just know it's coming, you know, and it helps with memorization. So really know what you're talking about. Acting
is not, it seems like it's not even just about you. If you're working with someone in a scene, I think you've referred to it as, it's about them too. Like it's, again, so that awareness of people outside of just yourself.
It's like a dance. Yeah. Wow. And if somebody, say you go into an audition and they have you read with another actor, that's always fun. Especially somebody you've never met. You're like, ooh, how fun is this? Sometimes you might have an idea about how the other part is going to be performed. Say you think somebody's going to be, they're angry in the scene and you're envisioning quiet anger. You go in there and they start yelling at you. You can't just pretend like the person's not yelling. You have to feed off of that and let that drive the way you're saying lines, because unless you're a sociopath, anybody screaming at you and you just sit there and you stay quiet like this, it's not going to make sense at all. And somebody's going to go, they're not listening. So acting for me is ultimately about listening and then responding.